during this time that we have been saying, get your PVC, get your BBC, many of the youths who are in tertiary institutions has been home. Okay. And they have gotten their PVCs at home. Okay. Now, maybe I'm just thinking, okay, the government and ASU will finally agree to go back, for them to go back to work, maybe 2 weeks before the election. So what process has INEC put in place for those students, okay, who got their PVCs at home to vote in school, if they are in school? I suspect they would have put some process in place to allow them to vote or to transfer their registration to one place or to the other, assuming even you registered in this house and in Bariga, okay, you register when you're living in Bariga, and you moved to Alagbado 2 weeks before the election. What happens? Do I need to go back to Bariga to vote?
No, you won't be able to go because there is no movement on election days in Nigeria. Several things still has to be done about the electoral law. I must admit that we have come a very long way, and the electoral process has continued to improve, but there is still a lot of room for improvement. One of it is what you have just said. Those kids will actually not be able to vote. Yes, you cannot. You see, where you indicated when you collected your card, when you registered, informs where your polling booth will be.
Yes.
So if you leave that place and have to be in another location, you won't be able to vote unless you transfer.
Okay, so there's a transfer process.
There's a transfer process.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I believe that at some point, we will need to be able to have some sort of what I would call a roaming voter, where the process that is involved in this transfer will not be a long process. As it is today, the transfer of where you're going to vote, it's not something you can do the snap of a finger. Yeah. So even if you go online and you initiate it online, there are still some processes before your card is printed.
How long would that take?
I can't say specifically, but what I can guess is people that are registering now, they are being told that they will get their card around October.
Wow.
Okay, so you can do the math and say, oh, if I want to do a transfer, say around October, I may not get that card by the time the election comes. And you need that card to vote. So these are some of the gaps that are still there that we will need to fix over time. So in this election, if you're going to vote, the best thing for you is be around where your card says you are going to vote.
See, this is the issue for me. It's a big issue.
It's a big issue. See, the other part as well is, in some other parts of the world today, there are no restriction of movement because election is going on.
See, when a voting day, most times I don't remember because I can go anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
Okay. See, the last voting day, that was 2 months ago. Yeah, my friend who is a registered Labour Party member and a local councillor in my town, okay, she just called me that day, and then she asked me, "Have you gone to vote?" Voting?
They were like,
oh my God! I didn't remember today is election day. Okay, unfortunately, I didn't know the candidates, and I didn't like to vote if I don't know the candidate, so I didn't go. But my voting place is less than 5 minutes away from me. Okay, in fact, if I drive, it's less than a minute. Okay, so now see, this is why I thought about this, because I know that parties and politicians are always trying to, unfortunately, limit the number of the electorate that will not support them. Okay, they do it in the US, unfortunate, and we do it in a country. See, I know that the biggest block of people who are current dominant parties in this coming election don't want are the youths who think differently from the previous era. And they are mostly the youths who are in school, who are angry about having been at home for months and months, okay? And most likely would not vote for the ruling parties, okay? So it just occurred to me that, maybe
there is a game somewhere.
They would just allow them to register, and then 2-3 weeks before election, school opens, and all of them excitedly go back to school, and they learn the day before election that they won't be able to vote.
Well,
it's a good strategy.
Yes, recently it was found out that some PVCs were buried. I think it was somewhere in the south. PVCs of people were being dug up from where they were buried. So it lends credence to what you were saying about how politicians sometimes want to prevent certain people who, if they think may not vote in their favor, from being able to vote in the first instance. So, and they know that if you don't have a PVC, you cannot vote. However, we need to begin to migrate away from this approach. I mean, this is talking to politicians now. If I am a politician, I need to be able to educate those young guys and take them away from anger. Because see, like the current Minister for Work said, anger is not a strategy.
No.
So I want to be able to challenge the youth to say, now this leadership has failed us again. We've been on, the school have been shut down for 5 months. But then it was shut down for almost a year, just 2 years ago. It was shut down 7 years ago. It was shut down 9 years ago. It was shut down 15 years ago. It was shut down 20 years ago. It was shut down 30 years ago.
It was shut down for almost a year in my final year in school.
You see what I'm saying? From military to PDP-1, PDP-2, APC, the schools have continued to be shut down. So there is a systemic problem.
Yeah.
I want to listen to this candidate and find out if there is any one of them that has a solution to that problem.
Yes.
Otherwise, if I just vote in anger, I vote a new person, we might just continue the same thing we've been having for the past 35 years.
Yeah.
And I would not have done anything. That is why anger is not a strategy. Rather, engagement is better. I want the young people to be able to put all these candidates that are saying they want to be president, put them on the spot. Let them speak to education problem. Let's listen to them. What is your solution to the perennial, never stopping
ASU strike?
What's the solution to it?
Yeah.
That is better than voting in anger.
Yeah. Now, that is very important that young people understand that, like you said, anger is not a solution to any of our problems. Okay. But coming back to my question. Okay. Now, anybody who listens to this, who have registered to vote at home, well, I'm just giving you a heads up. Okay?
Yes,
I'm just giving you a heads up. If you really want to vote and you are registered at home, you must be willing and ready to come back home. If school is open by the time of the election, you must be ready to come back home and vote. Otherwise, your registration and PVC doesn't mean
useless.
Anything. Okay?
Right.
See, for me, if the transfer process is difficult, I hold INEC responsible, and I hold the government responsible, and I hold the two main parties that have been running the government for 20 odd years responsible. Okay, because in this era, when everything is online, this process should be instant. At least take maybe 2-3 days and it's done.
It should be the same way we can get our ATM cards.
Yeah.
The same way, I mean, I still remember my driver's license back in the US.
Yeah.
Somebody will just drop it in my box.
If I change my address, okay, all I need to do is go online to see service or both private and government, change my address. And if I need to get a card, if I need to get a registration, whatever, within a week, maximum, within a week, I'm done.
It's that.
Okay, so the onus is on me. The onus is on me to do my own part. Okay, once I've done it, it's done. And if the government is not enabling that to be done, then I hold them responsible. But young guys must be ready to do what it takes to.
Unfortunately, so it's part of the further improvement in the electoral process that must be done. INEC must see this as a journey. People must be able to register and get their cards without struggling.
Yeah.